Well, the new CEO of Harley does something pretty unprecedented and ended up walking into a dealership incognito to find out what the majority of riders already know. But when he walked into the dealership, this is what he saw. Today I'm going to tell you how the soon-to-be CEO then, back in August of this year, actually ended up running this little experiment. No PR team, no security, no camera crew or anything like that. But he wanted to see what you and I see on the dealership side. What is that customer dealership relationship really like? So I'm going to tell you what he ended up seeing in the dealership and also what he ended up doing there. Now, I will talk about some of the limitations with his experiment, but it's also some of the cool things that might come from this and might paint a better, more positive picture for the motor company going forward. Now, of course, I want to hear your opinion too. What do you think about the new CEO's approach as opposed to what we've had for the past 4+ years? Let me know down below. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So, of course, earlier this year it was announced that Artie Starrs would be the one taking over Harley-Davidson. And so back in August, he wanted to see, what is this dealership experience like? I mean, he's about to take one of the most iconic brands in America after years, of them reeling and trying to rebound, and he has no automotive experience, right? The guy comes from Pizza Hut and Topgolf. That's not to undermine who he is or what he does, but let's just be honest, right? It's a different experience. So he goes down to a dealership in Texas and he walks in as incognito as he can. Now, according to one of the salespeople, I guess they recognized him as the CEO of Topgolf. They didn't realize that he was in the top running to be this new CEO of Harley-Davidson. And of course, he ended up getting the job. October 1st was his actual start date. Now, they said he was just like any other customer, right? They kind of knew, all right, the guy's older, he probably has money, I guess, they recognize him or whatever. Okay, fine. And he signed up for a class and he ended up buying his first motorcycle. Now, by the way, Artie does have good taste. He ended up buying a Heritage Classic, which is one of my personal favorites from Harley-Davidson. I absolutely love that motorcycle. And according to this report, he got a great customer experience. The limitation, though, is kind of already in the article. Somebody knew that, okay, this is a wealthy guy, seemingly. He's the CEO of Topgolf. So whether they knew he was actually going to be the new CEO or in the running, whatever, of Harley-Davidson, it begs the question, did they roll out the red carpet for him because they assumed he had money? Or is this the kind of experience that most riders are getting on a day-to-day basis? And the answer to that, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here and say no. A lot of us are met with very different experiences from dealership to dealership. This is not to condemn all of them because there's some great Harley dealers and there's some great people that work at them. But the difference from dealer to dealer can tell a completely different story, whether that's crazy upsells, merchandise cost, the bike cost, the upcharges, the dealer charges, the interest rates through HFDS. The kind of superior attitude that some of these dealers do carry absolutely doesn't paint the best picture for the dealership. And this is something, again, riders have been talking about for years. Now, let's just be honest. Some of these dealers have had to handle their own side with the motor company, with, inventory that's just outrageous. And, so give them some credit there. But that dealership experience has been broken for a number of years. I won't go to my local Harley dealers. I will go hundreds of miles away because, hey, you pay for freight, so they'll actually ship them. But I'll go to somebody that I've been dealing with for a long time just to buy a motorcycle because the experience is better. I know the pricing is going to be better, and that's just what I do. But maybe that's part of the problem too. The inconsistency in that dealer experience makes it really good for some and really bad for others, and may even drive some people away because of it. It may drive them to Indian or Yamaha or somewhere else. I'll use the example, and I know it's completely different business, but when you go to a Chick-fil-A, pretty much everyone you go to is consistently great and quick service. Again, two totally different experiences. I understand that. Maybe consistency and treating customers with respect is a great way to start to build those customer relationships. Now, in my opinion, this experiment would have been better ran if Artie were to get somebody that nobody knows, just a regular customer, and get them to visit multiple dealers. That's really going to give you the information on how normal customers are treated at a variety of different stores. In my opinion, that would be the way to go. Now, what Artie ran into, and assuming that this was a completely genuine experience, which I have no reason to believe that it wasn't, he came into the right dealership with the right people and he got a great experience. Like I said, it's not uncommon to come across good Harley-Davidson dealerships. Unfortunately, it's even more common or just as common to come across some kind of bad ones. But it does tell us who just took this position over. It's not about building some kind of fake premium luxury type of image. It's about building real relationships and connecting to the riders that built your brand. That to me is a breath of fresh air already. Regardless of how the experiment went or how it could have gone better, at least we have somebody that's trying to understand how this dealership or how this brand became what it is. But in order to continue another 120 years or whatever, they're going to have to make some serious changes, and it starts on those dealership floors and that customer experience. It's not just the bikes you offer, but it's also the experience that comes along with it. Now, I've talked about a number of different changes that Artie Starrs could work into the motorcycle industry and into the Harley-Davidson culture in order to make that an experience, because let's just be honest, buying a motorcycle isn't like buying a freaking Camry. It is an experience. It is a lifestyle for a lot of people. Even if you just ride every weekend, it's still a part of your lifestyle. And so to treat riders with more respect, better rewards, a better experience, free training, going into high schools and telling younger adults and 17, 18-year-olds about how awesome motorcycles are, scholarships for motorcycle mechanics, whatever, right? You can turn this thing, I mean, dude, there's so many ideas I have in my head. I'm not saying I could run the company, but I definitely got some great ideas that you could incorporate into the dealership experience to make it feel more alive and connect more with your riders. And of course, you have to have the bikes to draw people in too, but man, having somebody that understands or at least wants to understand that is a breath of fresh air, like I said before. So I think it's a great experience, a little flawed in its execution, but overall, man, it's nice to see somebody that actually might get it and take the motor company back on the upwards trend. That's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know what you think down below. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.